The Real Risk is Politician Exploiting Our Fears by Geeta Gopinath. Our only a few weeks, a dramatic chain of the events, tragic loss of life and paralyzed global supply chain interpreted as shipments of medical supplies between the allies and the deepest global economy characterization since the 1930s has laid bare vulnerabilities of the open border. Peoples may self-assess their individual risk and decide to curtail travel indefinitely, reversing 50 years of rising international mobility. If support for our integrated global economy was already declining before COVID 19 struck, the pandemic will likely hasten the reassessment of the globalization cost and benefits. Firms that are part of the global supply chain have witnesses first-hand the risk inherent in their independencies and the large losses caused by the disruption in future. These firms are likely to take great account of the tail risk, resulting in a supply chain that are more local and robust but less global. In emerging market whose embrace globalization included a steady opening to the capital flows, we risk seeing capital control being reimposed as these countries scramble to shield themselves from the stabilizing force of the sudden economic stop and even as the containment measures gradually come off worldwide, people may self-assess their individual risk and decide to curtail travel indefinitely, reversing half a century of the rising international mobilities. The real risk, however, is that this organic and self-interested shift away from the globalization by people and firms will be compounded by some policymaker who exploited fares or open border. They could impose protectionist restrictions on their trade under the guise of self-sufficiency and restrict the movement of the people under the pretext of public health. It is now in the hands of the global borders to avert this outcome and to retain the spirit of international unity that has collectively sustained us for more than 50 years. Another nail in the coffin of the globalization by the Carmen M. Reinhardt. World War First and the global economic depression in the early 1930s appeared in the midst of the propitious era of the globalization. Apart from the resurgence of the trade barriers and capital control, an important explanation for this demise is the fact that the more than 40% of all countries at the time entered defaults, cutting many of them off from the global capital market until the 1950s or much later. By the time World War II ended, the new Bretton Woods system combined the domestic financial repression with the extensive control of the capital flows with the little resemblance to the preceding era of the global trade and financing. Pandemic induced recession may be deep and long, and as in the 1930s sovereign defaults will likely spike. The modern globalization cycle has faced a series of blows since the financial crisis of 2008-2009, European debt crisis, Brexit, and the US-China trade war. The rise of the populism in many countries further titled the balance toward home buys. The coronavirus pandemic is the first crisis since the 1930s to engulf both advanced and developing economies. Their recessions may be deep and long, as in the 1930s sovereign defaults will likely spike. Calls to restrict trade and the capital flows find fertile soil in the bad times. Doubts about pre-coronavirus global supply chain, the safety of international travel, and at international levels, concern about the self-sufficiency in the necessities and resilience are all likely to persist even after the pandemic is brought under the control, which may itself prove a lengthy process. The post-coronavirus financial architecture may not be take us all the way back to the pre-globalization era of Bretton Woods, but the damage of the international trade and finance is likely to be the extensive and lasting.